Morning, good evening, Mr. X's class. We're here to talk about the word preliminary. It's an adjective. It's the first word for week 2, level 4. Preliminary means happening before a more important action or event. So it means, there's two ideas there. It means that something is before. But there are some other words that you'll get in academic vocabulary that mean before, like previous, prior. In that way, it's kind of similar to those, but this has an additional meaning, which is it happens before a more important action. So this means this is something that is not important. It happens before something else that is more important. So like in my sentence, I say, I gave a preliminary introduction before the president's speech. So imagine that an ordinary person is talking, introducing the president. The president is more important. So this is less important. It happens before, and it's less important. Or we could say, we have created a preliminary, I tried to use a couple of academic vocabulary in this one. We have created a preliminary, created as an academic vocabulary, created a preliminary proposal. Like, proposal is something that you want to do, an idea. Like maybe you could give this to you could say this to your boss. We have created a preliminary proposal, but it's not finished. We will revise, like check and fix, and submit it later as a final version. We could say, let's say that, as a final version. And version is an academic vocabulary. You have like 5 academic vocabulary words in there. So preliminary proposal. Is it the final one? Is it the end, the last version? No.
No.
It's just, so preliminary here, it means this is speaking before the president, less important. So if it's a preliminary introduction, I'm speaking before the president, and what I'm saying is less important than what the president says. Okay, a preliminary proposal or a preliminary version of something, that means that it's not the final version. So later the more important version will be the final version. This is the first version, which is not fixed yet, so it's not like totally ready to turn in yet. So it's not the important one. We came up with it, it's like the first step to start thinking about it, but it's not the more important final version. So you can use preliminary for versions of like that, versions of documents. So, for example, here too, the first draft is just a preliminary version of an essay. It's not worth, you don't get as many points for it. It's not the final version. You do it first, before. You do it before something more important. That's what preliminary is. Before something more important. It's not important. Something more important happens later. So, and here are some other things to talk about. So Spanish, preliminar, for that word. And word family, so sometimes this is the same word, but sometimes we put it in word families if we think it's less common. I'm not sure if that was the best choice, but that's what we've done on our cards. So it is the same word. It's the same word, preliminary. But it's more common as an adjective. But you can use it as a noun. If you use it as a noun, so adjective is happening before a more important action. Noun is the thing that happens before. So, and is less important. So we could say, the introduction was just a preliminary before the speech. It was a preliminary, that's a noun, preliminary. It has both meanings. But this is more common, adjective meaning. That's why we put it on the main definition. And this is a word family, but it's the same word. Synonyms, initial or preparatory. Preparatory means you're preparing for something else more important. So same kind of idea. Initial means it's just the first. It's at the start. Iniciar, in el inicio. It's the beginning. But later something more will happen. Antonym would be final, because the final version is complete, done, not coming before anything else. Okay, so any questions about that? All right, thank you so much for filming, and thanks for watching.